Where are we? Downtown, right?
Downtown.
So what's up, guys? It's Jonah in Between the BS.
With Michelle from Fuse Fascism Los Angeles.
And we got a guest today. And man, she blew my mind today, man. This woman right here, she could really speak.
But this is the whole reality of this system of capitalism, imperialism. Why do you have a state, a violent state that is enforcing the enslavement of women, that wants to strip away the right to abortion, the right to birth control, that Brett Kavanaugh had the audacity to call birth control abortion-inducing drugs? That's bullshit. That's anti-scientific. That's anti-women. That's misogynist. And that is anti-humanity. And we're standing here with the 7 billion people on this planet. Because these fascists right now in the White House, they came out of the very workings of America, a country founded on slavery and genocide, a country founded on white supremacy, a country founded on the fact that there's being bombs dropped all over the world in our name, the fact that the U.S. is fueling Saudi Arabia to starve the children of Yemen and to drop bombs on them, 40 children, just last month. This is what America is all about. And now you have these Nazis in the streets who are burning Nikes because they ran out of burning crosses. That is what we're facing right now. We are facing an ethnic cleansing, putting children in cages. And that's not even the half of it. So we got to confront the actual reality. And I'm united with all of you here, whether you're a Democrat, whether you're a Christian, whether you're a Muslim, whether you're an anarchist. I'm coming from the perspective of a revolutionary communist and an emancipator of humanity, that this whole system needs to be overthrown. This whole system that brought into being a Trump and a Pence and these fascist neo-Nazis in the White House that are committing.
Let them know who you are.
My name is Luna. I'm with the Revolution Club in Los Angeles.
And what exactly is that?
The Revolution Club is where you get organized for an actual revolution to overthrow the system of capitalism and imperialism. We have a strategy called How We Can Win that we're getting out, and we're on a mission to actually organize people into this movement where millions of people can go all out, not today or tomorrow, but in a revolutionary situation, something very definite, where thousands of millions can be led to go up against the armed enforcers of this system and dismantle it and bring in something new into being based on the Constitution for the New Socialist Republic authored by Barbara Bacon. And we uphold 6 points of attention that are in this pamphlet that all people everywhere can take up if they agree with. And yeah, we're about emancipating humanity. That's what Revolution Club is all about.
So I got a question. We got another little special guest here. Look at her. Say hello, mom. Say hello. Little special guest here. She's a mess right now. She marched too, you know that? So, are you saying that you marched for her?
Of course. I marched for her and all people like her all around the world.
And what about you, Michelle?
Yeah, I mean, you just think about right now we're in a situation where Brett Kavanaugh is being confirmed to take a seat in the Supreme Court, and you think about that's a lifetime appointment, right? By the time that she would be, a little older, or maybe even in a few days, this is going to look a lot different. And it's really up to us, what is it going to look like, right? And if we allow for these people to actually take power and to go, roll back women's rights to control their bodies, it's going to mean hell. I mean, we're already living in a world where women are treated as trash, less, anything other than full human beings. And so we're living in a culture of rape, of misogyny, and the right to abortion is actually very fundamental.
I want to say like this, look, like me, as you can tell me personally, I don't believe in abortion. I don't. But I'm a man. Like the great revolutionary said, Tupac. A man don't have a right when to say when a woman can make it.
The only options that for women are being subjected to being an incubator or a sex object.
You know what I mean? That is a liberty. That's a woman's decision. That's a woman's right. That's her choice. Whether I'm for that or not, it does not matter. That is a woman's right to choose. And as long as women will fight for that, I will stand by their side and fight for that. Whether I agree with that or not, that is their freedom. They're not a man, but they should have the same rights as a man. They're human. See, it's not only the separation of classes, it's not only the separation of races, but it's the separation of gender.
And even before Roe versus Wade was law, women had to go behind the alley and induce their own abortions. And they literally, this is what they look like, right? After they did this, because they bled to death. And
thousands of women, thousands that we know, okay, died. And that's before it was even brought to attention that women even had rights. You know?
That's why today we're wearing, blood, right, on ourselves, and we just held a protest to really illustrate the fact that if we allow this fascist regime to consolidate, and if we allow Brett Kavanaugh to take, the seat in the Supreme Court, then they're already dead set on rolling back Roe versus Wade, which is, this very fundamental right.
To a fascist system, white supremacy nation, whether you're a woman or a colored man, you ain't nothing. And that's why they put a judge like Kavanaugh in there. Yes, we're here marching for women today, but what I really want people to understand also is that he's against the civil rights. They believe that their constitution was violated because colored peoples are only 3/4 of a man in their constitution, meaning that we are not 100% man, meaning that we don't even have the right to vote, meaning that if they take away the right to vote, so-called that it does exist, that we do belong in a system that was created for everybody. But if they take that away, then what kind of country do you believe that you will be living in? What kind of system do you believe that a type of system where you can't even vote, where you can't even live your life, buy businesses, going to schools, they begin segregating? You see, I'm wearing this jumpsuit to represent my peoples who are in concentration camps. We got refugees because that's what they are. The United States goes, implements their peoples and their agenda over there in Central America, South America, and Mexico. They put who they put, cause civil wars, start killing the peoples. The kill peoples are running from the fire to try to get away from there. And what do? They figure out a way how to put money. They lock up. They build these institutions. These same institutions that the 1% are all putting money into. It's a marketing value. We're good for business. So we represent a different type of perspective of humanity. See, it's not only about a flag, a country, because that's just division. What the fuck is us talk about? Kneeling and burning Nikes, and there's kids in fucking cages, bro. There's women about to be asked to basically commit suicide.
Yeah, exactly. But even like the Nike thing that you just brought up is actually really important. Why Colin Kaepernick actually took a knee is because black people were and have continued to be shot down in the street. I mean, just yesterday I watched this video of this young child that gets tased by the cop. Here you have Colin Kaepernick, who has been like standing up to call out these pigs that are basically murdering. Here you have the biggest fucking criminals, the murdering pigs that continue to kill black and brown people, right? Yeah. And the people in the White House, the highest
talking about
criminals.
protecting the Constitution,
right?
Talking about country, talking about flag. Well, then apparently, if they believe that killing black and brown people is representing their country properly,
don't see a day in jail, right?
Then, hey, what's up, man? Where the fuck are you guys at marching on the streets? Is you guys gonna wait until it's too late and you can't do nothing for these beautiful babies? Or is you gonna get involved while you still can?
Look, we have openly been calling for people to do acts of civil disobedience. We're not calling for violence. We're calling for protest, nonviolent civil disobedience.
And that's why I march right now. That's what I stand and represent for. I stand and represent the people. whether you're black, brown, or white. I represent the people. And what you need to understand is this. What's coming out of that White House, what's coming out of that establishment is not for all people. It's against humanity. I fight for humanity, and I fight for the so-called true American, whatever you want to call it, American dream that they say. I fight for an ideology of equality, diverse, and freedoms. That's what I fight for. You got a criminal, a fascist pig in that White House, a pedophile, a rapist. That's not what America stands for. If that's your America, you should be ashamed of yourself.
I think this point about standing with humanity is really important. Even like, I mean, there are these, I mean, there's literally, I mean, we've encountered it, right? Like these fucking white supremacists that have told us that they don't give a fuck about us, you know? But I'm not gonna go along with that fucking racist bullshit. It's not just like what color people are, right? It's actually what is the content of what they're saying. And there was a lot of good people here today that said some really beautiful shit, you know, and that don't look like you and I.
Yeah, no,
but
they
they're
don't.
standing on the right side.
There are white people that want to cause us harm, and there are white people that have fought right alongside of us. And Michelle, make sure I remember that every time. She sure does make sure to remind me of that.
Because just as they are those, you know, those white people and those black people that are standing with us, the same thing on the other side. There are those white and black people that are in the military, that are in the fascist regime, that are in the fucking police forces, that are literally brutalizing and murdering people right now.
Yeah, because
look,
at the end of the day, this march is for humanity.
Yeah, we gotta realize and we have to confront that the reason why people think and act the way that they do, it's the whole system.
Yeah.
It's not that white people are inherently white supremacists or racist, but when you have a system that backs them, that is backing the neo-Nazis and all of that through the state,
It teaches them that they're privileged.
it's to have a certain amount of entitlement and to think that they can commit atrocities to black and brown people and people all over the world. Same today. But fascism, a key pillar, especially in implementing a Christian theocracy, Christian fascism, a key pillar in that is the enslavement of women, is the enslavement of half of humanity that was born female. That is how this system functions through enforcing patriarchy, through enforcing male supremacy and domination. Those are fundamental things that the system of capitalism and imperialism enforces and cannot get rid of. You can't reform that away. This is not about babies. When they talk about babies, that these Christian fascists, they say, oh, the babies. We gotta say that no, this is not about the babies. They don't give a damn about babies.
They're pro-death penalty.
They ain't saying shit about the babies in the cages. If they really cared about babies, they ain't saying shit about the black babies who get shot down by the police, who are in poverty. They don't say shit about the babies in Yemen that are being starved to death by the U.S. and Saudi Arabia. They don't say shit about the babies in the Middle East and everywhere in Africa and all over the world, because that is not what this is about. This is about literally enslaving.
The reality is, look, right, the people of Iran that are, you know, these fascist criminals in the White House have threatened with war. Like those people, like I see them as our brothers and sisters, you know.
Yeah.
Like the fact that men came out here shows that there's the potential for so many people, no matter who you are, to be transformed from confronting some real shit. That this is a system that needs to be overthrown. The fact that you can't get rid of all these things, not being recognized as a full human being. And the fact that the Democrats are not doing anything. What they're doing doesn't represent fundamentally the interests of humanity. It represents the interests of their system,
Yeah.
which is a rotten system, which has been.
Republicans and Democrats have the same agenda.
Too many things have happened, and to say that we can vote this out is saying that we can accept real horrors if we just say all we can do is vote. That's standing aside. If you actually don't stand up and go out of the normal channels by 10,000 in the streets every day, that's what is needed right now, because that's actually what is commensurate. Those kind of disruptions and that kind of shaking things up to the core and saying this and calling this out for what it is. This is fascism. And realize that this is not normal. This is American fascism wrapped in the fucking American flag.
Do you hear the words out of this? woman's mouth. And the establishment and college degree people would call us radical. Maybe even extremists. Maybe even non-educated. But I see a person who sees the truth and speaks the truth. And you need to understand that those who sometimes speak for you really ain't speaking for you. They're speaking to be part of an establishment to mislead you. We're living in a time where you need to see and understand who's really out there for you. You know this young lady right here? She's fighting a case right now. You need to pay attention to who's putting their lives on the line for you. Michelle, why are you going to court?
I'm going to court because they got me on some fucking bullshit. They're charging me on conspiracy. There are actually 2 counts of conspiracy for organizing, the protests and for organizing people to get out into the streets. And when you actually look back in the 60s, when people were like really fighting for their rights, they put some shit on the line. They did active civil disobedience. How do you think?
How many times Martin Luther King go to jail?
Exactly.
What happened to Cummings in Lewis? What they do to them? They crack their heads and put them in jail.
But look, exactly. And so people put some shit on the line, right, to really win the rights that people have today. And doing this in a time when just the other day, motherfucking Trump said that protests should be illegal. Why do they let these people, why do they not take these people out? And do you know what he means when he says take people out? He doesn't mean take them out of the room. He means take them out, And he's inciting these fucking white supremacists, these same people that have threatened and that have actually ran people over and have killed people like Heather Heyer, but running their cars into these protests.
Which is an Israel tactic. You know that, right? That's what Israel does to the Palestinians. They're free to run over Palestine children and not be charged with crimes.
And so here you have myself, who's a spokesperson, and Perry Hoverman, who's another spokesperson of the LA chapter of Refuse National, who are actually being charged with conspiracy. He's facing 1 charge of conspiracy, and I'm facing 2 charges of conspiracy, right? We have both of us actually. Luna too is being charged, not with conspiracy, but when it comes down to it, is for organizing at UCLA, right? And for disrupting Steve Mnuchin, for protesting and actually challenging that motherfucker Steve Mnuchin and all these people in the fascist regime. They're using like what people have been saying in public against what, when it comes down to it, it is a fucking clampdown on freedom of speech. It is a clampdown on dissent. It is how they move to consolidate their power. The fact that how Nazi Germany even, actually got consolidated was by stopping any opposition against the Nazis. And that's how they were able to fucking move forward and do what they did. And so here we're in a situation where that's what they're fighting to do. And by sending a message to society that if you do what these people are doing, if you're in the front lines and if you're calling for what these people are calling for, then you are going to get your day in court. And
as we continue on this new series of In Between the BS Raw, joined with refusefascism.org and special appearances from the Red Club, and hopefully more organizations that want to join in and give their point of views, whether you're for immigrant rights, whether you're for climate change, whether you're for whatever, we all have the same agenda. And I get tired of hearing people say, oh, well, who's organizing this? Or who's doing this?
Yeah. And this is the thing that really, fucking gets me, right? Is the fact that here's people that are fighting for, for some real shit,
Do you not stand for human rights?
Yeah.
Or are you just a marketing value? Are you just being used for propaganda from the government to preach a message that they want you to preach to your people and look good to your base while you keep misleading them? Because I ain't an immigrant. I'm a migrant. I'm a brown human being. And when I speak and I march for all brown people. Yes, I march for humanity. I love humanity. But I'm not ignorant to what I am. I'm a brown human being. And I don't fall into that propaganda agenda of immigrant rights. I don't fall for that. Because once you begin saying immigrant rights, you fall into their propaganda and narrative of you don't belong here. You get what I'm saying? Once you're proud to say you're an immigrant, you already lost. Because you're already delegitimizing your right as a human being. My message is this. I put aside the propaganda and I look at the straight facts. We're human beings. I speak for human beings. I march for human beings. Whether you're brown, black, or white. But every time I speak, every time I hit them streets, I know my color. And I rep brown people.
We're calling on people, you know, to get out into this, to get out of our fucking comfort zones, to not normalize this shit and to not go along with this. That there still is a chance to stop this. Brett Kavanaugh has not actually been confirmed, you know, and so we still have a chance to really stop this. The beginning of Trump's, you know, what Trump has been saying was, take these people's citizenships away, right? For protesting, for burning the American flag, for, you know, for standing up. And so you can see a situation where they're calling for people's citizenship to be taken away, for people to be imprisoned for protesting and for leading a chapter of Refuse Fascism, you know.
Protesting to protecting the future of your children.
Yeah, fighting for the future of humanity and the planet. And that's what we're facing charges for when it comes down to it, right? And so, and look, everybody, this is not going to be an isolated fight. We don't want to just go into the courtroom and have not people know about this. We're going to make this a big fucking deal. And for people to know, look, and just as Jonah has said, you don't agree with abortion, but yet you're still standing with us. And you don't have to agree with our tactics. You don't have to agree, you know, on the fascism, but you do have to recognize that these are urgent moments and that this is ripping up fucking rights to protest.
And my last words with this. And y'all might not like, you might like it, you may not. Some of the people I fuck with and talk to, but we're living in a serious time. Fuck all this marketing shit. Who's organizing what? Who's doing what? I'm gonna let you guys know right now, man. If you ain't marching for humanity, you're part of the propaganda. You're part of the self-interest. If you ain't out here really putting your lives and yourself on the line, why am I saying this? Because I see a lot of people following a lot of different groups that really ain't out there fighting for them. And I know desperation is a motherfucker. And if you that desperate to follow people who really ain't fighting for you, join us. Join us. Because we're out here ready to fight for you. Ready to risk our freedom for you. We're ready to die with you. Don't you see what's going on? Today it's us. Tomorrow it could be your beautiful kids. If we don't fight for our kids, if we don't fight for our women, trust, they will do what they did to our ancestors. And I hear that talk of our ancestors. Well, you know what, man? At the end of the day, our ancestors failed us. How the fuck did we end up in this position? Being told what to do in our own land. Right now, we have a choice not to be our ancestors. Whatever you believe in, know this. These three organizations, In Between the BS, Refuse, and Rev, fight for human rights and for the freedom of all peoples. Join us.